Yo, what's up, guys? It's your girl. You know who it is. And we're back with another episode of Talk Time. And today, we have a super secret special guest. The one and only, top-notch, top-tier, multiple Grammy, Stellar, and Dove award-winning. You know this name. One of the greatest household names in gospel music. Mr. Kirk Franklin himself. Hey!
Okay.
We live.
Yo.
It's a party.
Yo, this is crazy.
It's crazy. It's wild.
Okay, all good.
Well, I'm glad to be on your show. We went live on my page, but we're going to be on your show.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to have you on, and it really is an honor. It's funny because I got on this interview thing, and I don't know, I've just fallen in love with it. And so I really just want to hear your heart. So these questions are pretty mild, but they're built for you. They're built around you, and so feel free to speak free.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is that it is a great honor to talk to you. I've been excited to talk to you because I think you, along with your siblings, are some of the most phenomenal voices of our time. Is I think your voice is so freaking beautiful. I am probably your biggest fan. You know, I am deeply in love with your sound. I am a groupie of your big brother's voice. I'm you know, just all of you guys are just phenomenal singers. And so when I got a chance to be invited to be on your show, it was like, I mean, it's like I couldn't sleep. I was up all night, late in the midnight hour. So I'm very glad to be on your show. Thank you for having me. Now, I'm old, so I'm going to ask an old man question. It's like I'm like 95 years old. Now, we're live on my page. We're live on my page, but this is your show. So how does this work? Is she froze?
Well, I think it's the same. Works the same as any other interview. I think it's better actually that we're on your live because, you know, this really is about you. So it just is whatever you feel like you want to say, or, you know, whatever you are led to say, and, you know, answer for these questions. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I just wanted the people to get a chance to hear you and see you. You know, a lot of the time we see your music and the product that you produce, and, you know, we love it and we love the sound. And, you know, I think of course you've done interviews before, but, you know, this is kind of just a chillax, and we want to see the man behind the music.
Let's go.
So we can go ahead and get started. I have a plethora of questions for you. You know, you're somebody that was a household name. Me growing up, you know, I don't know anybody that doesn't know Kirk Franklin. And so my first question in regards to this quarantine and everything, I wanted to ask you, what does a typical day in quarantine look like for Kirk Franklin?
You know, it just varies. You know, it just depends on how many Zoom calls and how many lives are happening, and, you know, just with all this going on, you know, like it can just be a lot sometimes. Yeah. And so, you know, you're trying to figure it out because, you know, you're trying to be available to speak to people, to be able to encourage people, to be able to walk out life with people. Yeah. You know, these times of uncertainties, you know, it's humbling to be a voice that people, well, one voice out of many that people want to hear from. And so, you know, as I take great humility in that, and so it just depends. You know, there can be late hours, you know, and sometimes you don't wake up until 10, 11 because you didn't go to bed till 5 or 6, you know. So, you know, It's just, yeah, right. It's just been a crazy time. It's just been a crazy time.
Yeah, it has been. One of the things that I've been getting into in this time, even more than ever, is my word. And I've been asking God to, you know, reveal things to me. And it's great because he really has. The Bible says when you ask God for wisdom, you know, he'll give it to you. And I've just been asking and asking and, you know, petitioning my life, and he's just been showing up. So I really wanted to ask, and I've been asking this question to everybody, but what do you feel like God has been revealing to you in this time?
I think that it's too quick to, in my humble opinion, to make a full assessment, because we're still in it.
Yeah.
You know, this is so far from over. You know, right now in America, what is it, over 1.5 million people infected? It's over 75,000 deaths. You know, over 33 million Americans have applied for unemployment. So, you know, we haven't even seen the peak of this. You know, it's still rising in our country. So I don't know if it's as much as what do we say or what God is saying, as much as it is that we are in the middle of the war, and it's important for us to be trying to save each other's lives, because Black and brown people are the most vulnerable. And so because of that, it is very important for us to be mindful of our own. And so while we also pray for other communities as well. So I think that the jury is out on what the sovereign cosmic response of God is in the middle of this. But I think that we do at the same time need to be asking God to give us ears to hear, and to be humble enough to want to hear, and to not be able to come with our own narrative of what the end statement of the kingdom will be, but to be able to say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears."
All right, I agree with that. I do, and I love that what you said about when, you know, a God giving you his final answer, his sovereign answer isn't, you know, one thing, and it isn't final yet because it isn't over. And I think that people hear it's not over, and I think that they panic. But the great thing about us as believers is, you know, it's not over. That means God has more to say. And so I'm excited about that, and it's a beautiful thing. And so I wanted to ask you, since you are heavily regarded in our industry as somebody that people really do look to, like you said, you know, you are a voice of many, but you are a very impactful voice. And I just wanted to know, you know, how do you feel that the gospel industry, you know, how has our response been, and how do you feel that it could be better?
Great question. Great question. I think that there are so many nuances to the question, and I think that there's a myriad of answers, just because I think that so many people are at so many different journeys in their Christian walk, or even in their walk alone, because some people may not even be Christians. They may be seekers. There may be some people that were Christians, but now they're more spiritual, just because they may have been turned off by some things that they've seen by the institutionalized presentation of Christianity within the local body of the church. So I think people are at so many different stages. And so because there's so many different stages, that it's really hard to be able to determine what people are hearing and feeling and seeing. And then I think so many people want so many different things from gospel music. You know, some people may want to dance, some people may want to worship, some people may want so many different things that it's really hard to be able to be to necessarily have specificity to what people are looking for. And so I think that it's just very important that for anybody that has any type of platform, for you to be authentic with your platform and to be honest with your platform, because that's all that you can do. That there has to be an authenticity, and there has to be a humility and a vulnerability, because these are times that people are just looking for something. And so if they come to you, that it's important for you to make sure that they don't leave empty-handed.
Ooh, said a word. It is definitely important that people don't leave empty-handed. That is very true. And I think that a lot of people are seeking, or were seeking, you know, before the world went on pause, we're seeking things. And I think that this is the perfect time, you know, for people who are seeking, and for people who are becoming more spiritual, to get close to God, and to, you know, for us, those of us who have been given the platform and are charged with ministry, and that's our call in our life, you know, it is important for people to see who we are at our roots, our authenticity. So I absolutely agree. That's a good word. I did a little research about you years and years ago, and I and I did a little more recent research about you a couple of weeks ago, and well, it's funny because Google says you got your start in music, but I mean, I want to know, when did you really fall in love with music and songwriting, and who were some of your biggest inspirations?
Man, great question. Well, of course, Ahjah Walls was one of my greatest. I just,
Uh,
you know,
uh.
uh, is believe it or not, I was more influenced by hip hop when I was coming up. I wasn't influenced by gospel music. I didn't get influenced by gospel music until I was in my mid-teens and I began to trust Christ with my heart a little bit more. But coming up as a kid, I was influenced by popular music. I was influenced by Michael Jackson. I was influenced by the Commodores. I was influenced by Elton John. I was influenced by early hip hop. I was influenced by the popular music that was on the radio. That's what influenced me. I was a break dancer as a kid. I was a rapper at the skating rink. And so, yeah, Kid Fresh. That was my name, Kid Fresh.
Oh
Yeah,
my, yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. So, okay, stop laughing. Stop laughing.
Ooh,
Okay,
I'm
so,
sorry.
uh, so that was the music that really influenced me. And then I had a situation where a good friend of mine got shot and killed tragically, and it was a very weird situation, but just because it happened accidentally. And he was the good kid; he was the Christian kid. We were the ones wilding out, smoking, drinking, and he wasn't even trying to be about that life, and he accidentally was shot and killed. And so that was a trajectory change in my life that was major. And so then I got, now mind you, before that I was playing music at church because I became a musician at a church by the time I was 11 or 12, but that music didn't pull my heart. Like there were moments where there were different, songs that would speak to me, but what I was influenced by was music of the culture at that time. And then after trusting the Lord with my heart, then I got introduced more to Thomas Whitfield, and I got introduced to some of those musical moments that were more powerful for me, and that became Just Ghetto.
Hey, it's life is
moments.
happening. All right.
No doubt, all over the place. And so those were the things that really impacted me musically. And so then even before that, even songwriting, I was writing songs even as a kid where I would take R&B and hip hop songs and flip them. Like as I took an Elton John record, his song "Benny and the Jets," and I took it and I flipped it. He's coming back. I said he's coming back.
Hey.
I know Jesus is coming back. Bum 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 bum. He said that he is coming back. Dun 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 dun. So I was doing that as a youngin'. And so, then when I became a believer, I just got really serious about music. I got real serious about God's heart in music. And God just started letting me borrow songs that started to speak to the choir that I was over at the time. And people really started to like my music. And they were like, man, that song is good. You got another one? I was like, yeah, I got none,
I
and
got
so, and they really started to like them. And so that kind of set the direction of my heart.
I love that. I love it. It's so funny. A lot of the times we know how to do church, but it takes a special, and it takes an intimate and interpersonal thing, when you do find the Christ in the church, when you do find the Jesus in all the shouting and the good music and the good feeling, when you find the source, when you find the God in it, it becomes a different thing. And it's good because, I'm 22 and I feel like I've been alive forever. I've been walking this journey with Christ, and musically, I love, good funk, and I love a good, good beat. But as I've gotten into writing recently, it's not so much about what I want to say, but it's about what God would have me to give to his people. And so that is important. That's
No
good.
doubt.
Kid Fresh. Kid
Yeah.
Fresh.
Watch
Yes,
out, watch
sir.
out, watch out, watch out.
Hey, if you have a comeback, I'm just saying, nobody would know what to do with you. I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't know what to do with me. I don't know what we would do.
Hey, it's worth a shot. And it brings me to the next question. Because I talked about you're really good at, great at, no matter what era we're in, you know, no matter if it's trap, rap, or you know, old gospel, or, you know, soul music, you have this way of keeping relevant and keeping with the times. And so my next question is, you know, coming out of the gate, you know, you were such a controversial artist. I remember my parents telling me stories about people playing your songs in the club. You know, my dad used to be in the club. And so he would say, you know, when the Kirk Franklin would come on, you know, you get your worship, but you get your groove on too. And, you know, I would say that, how did you manage being in the world but not of it, and making music that felt good but still maintaining your message and maintaining who you are?
You know, you stumble, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You have trial and error. You know, you have to acquiesce to God's discipline when it happens. You know, because as Paul says in Hebrews, He disciplines those He loves. You know, you know, and you know, I have made a lot of mistakes where, you know, I've wanted to share in the glory of the praise, but it's the glory was meant for Him, but I wanted some of it too, and
that's real.
And I've fallen in that area many times, and I'm very grateful that the Lord was kind and patient to not throw me away. You know, it was just, you know, as I had, you know, because, you know, remember, as I came to my career with already a lot of PTSD and a lot of abandonment issues. You know my story, adopted, abandoned by my mama. You know, didn't know my daddy, and you know, never was told I was going to be anything. And so music fills spaces that it was not, or the acceptance from music fills spaces that were really supposed to be reserved for God. Yeah. Right. And so I've had to walk through that. I've had to stumble and make mistakes to learn that God loves me, but He don't need me. You know,
that's true. That is truth. That is truth, and that's real. And like, hey, authenticity, and it's a beautiful thing. And I just, you know, have to say, as the Lord has been leading me, guiding me, it's a beautiful thing when you don't look like what you've been through, or when you don't act like what you've been through, or what your circumstance isn't who you are. Okay, hey, I'm back.
Do I have any boogers? I was going to say, if I have any boogers on my...
Nah, I think you're good. And my car is crying, and that's okay. My parents' Wi-Fi is so bad, I just had to get out.
It's all good. It is all good.
We doing what we got to do, because we all everywhere, and I don't know what's...
And please tell them I said hello.
I will definitely. But yeah, what we were talking about, you know, you have 28 years in this game, and I know
you were talking, I was trying to see if I had any boogers. So I got a booger.
Oh no, I think you're good. You know, you might wait. Maybe like one on this. Oh, now you're good.
Have you ever hold on? Have you ever FaceTime one of your grandparents or great uncle, and they be talking? It's to
always
you like
this. It's like, always this.
What? How you?
My granddad, huh? Hello. Can you see? No, I can't see you, Granny. I cannot.
Okay,
Look, our people.
Okay, you said that. You said I've had 28 years of being handsome and cute
and great.
Yeah.
You know, of being great and handsome and stylish and hair always on point.
My hair is on point.
Period. But 28 years in the game, and I know you see the comments because I keep seeing people put the GOAT in, and people just telling you, you know, how impactful you've been, you know, in their lives and their journeys. And me, even to this day, today, in my playlist, my 3 favorite songs by you are Without You, Beautiful, and Chains. Like, Chains got me through high school.
I love Beautiful.
My
You and
goodness.
you and your sister, man. You know what, man? Y'all, when y'all sing, it's. I know this is not a Judeo-Christian term that we use a lot within our community, but y'all are magic. Y'all are
Oh,
magic when y'all sing, man. Ugh,
oh my!
it's
It's a
magic.
God thing. It's only him, and it's only him. And I know it, it's only him, and through him, I've been preaching this like for the longest. But through Christ, the Bible tells us, through Christ, all things are possible. So I've been saying like I'm
Yeah,
unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. Like I'm just unstoppable because through Christ, literally every and all things are possible. So I thank you
yeah.
for that. I really do because the me that people love about me is only God.
Mm,
It's
no,
only God.
no,
And so,
no.
but I was saying that you have this awesome way of moving along with, the genre of gospel music and pushing it forward. And you've always kind of been the spearhead, when it comes to not being inside of a box and not being able to be confined. And so the question I have for you, I think you kind of already answered. So it was just basically though how you kind of keep relevant, but maintain who you are. And your answer, you speak so well, and I've always known this, and you really are really good at articulating your thoughts, and I'm trying to get there. So pray for me.
But no, you do great. You're doing great. You're doing great.
I wanted to ask you though, what is the most important advice you have for aspiring gospel artists? Younger people, older people, don't matter.
My greatest advice that I would say to anyone wanting to be in this particular genre of music, that if you want to be in this particular genre, is that if you're not ready for this music to invade your private personal life, if you're
Yeah,
not ready for your life to be reflective in the music that you sing about, don't do this music. I'm
yeah,
not talking about perfect.
yeah,
I'm not talking about perfect. I'm talking about purpose, not perfect, but there's a purpose that you have been married to, and there's a pursuit that you're after.
yeah.
Not perfect, but you're pursuing. You're
Yes,
pursuing an intimate relationship, not only to know him, but for him to have you. Is that I
yeah,
think it's different for saying, come on, y'all, let's chase after Jesus. Come on, let's worship Jesus. But then the other thing is that are we willing to allow God to invade every area of our
yeah.
life and
Hmm.
be Lord of every one of those areas? Like I like how one theologian said is that God made us in his own image, and since then we've been returning the favor. So ever since God made us in his image, we've been trying to make everything in our image. And so it's very important for us to realize that God is the owner. We are the managers. We own nothing, but we are managers of everything. And
Yeah.
so, but we're owners of nothing. And
Yes.
so if you don't develop that type of ideology in your approach to Christian music, then you can't be mad if you don't have the type of impact you think you deserve to have. And then the other problem is that whatever impact you think you deserve to have is the reason why you're in the wrong business, because none of
Ooh,
us deserve anything.
nothing. We only have what he gives us because he's just that good. It's giving.
Amen.
It's nothing you can
Amen.
earn. I remember I've never forgot what you said to me and my siblings. I think we were recording fast forward. And you said, God doesn't ask us to be perfect. Just live a life he can work with. I've
Mm.
kept that. We've kept that.
Wow.
And it's crazy because people will tell you a lot of things in this industry, but I think that a lot of the times, especially young kids, a lot of the times they don't tell you, how your real life should be in your ministry. They don't tell you how your ministry isn't just what you get on stage and do, but it's what you do when nobody's looking. It's what you do when only God can see you. And so I think that is an important message for aspiring gospel artists, especially not just artists, as gospel artists, because we're held to a standard, but not because God is a meanie or he's the a bully, but because he imparted in us something. He imparted it into us, gifts and joy and peace and eternal life, and didn't ask for anything in return except for just give me that love back. Well, what does it look like when we love somebody? We want to give them everything. You love your family, you want to give them
Yeah.
the world. You love your wife, you want to give them the world. God says, regard me the same way. That's
Yeah.
all he asked for. He knew we wouldn't be perfect. That's what Christ is for.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I'm so proud to hear you. Like it just makes my heart full of joy to hear you talk like this and to see the maturity and the appetite for him that you have. That is really, really, really dope, young lady. And I think that is just the reason why, you know, like when I hear all of y'all sing, you know, but when I hear you sing and you know, just because I follow y'all and to hear the timbre in your voice, it has this call in it. Like your voice has a call in it, and I think that that is connected to the pursuit. That when people are hungry, it's going to show. It's going to show. You know, there's a desperation that comes out, and I think that you can't do gospel music without having some sense of desperation, because most people don't come to gospel when they want to have fun. People come to gospel often when they're going through, and so if that's why they come here, then we've got to give them a well-balanced meal. We got to give them something. We have to give them something to help them get through, and at the same time, got to challenge them to see, are they the reason why they're going through?
Accountability. Yes. Thank you. I live in a generation, and this is not shade or shots, because, you know, I've been a benefactor of this, and I've engaged in it as well. But we live in an instant gratification generation, and everything is at our fingertips, so we don't work for anything, or we don't feel that we have to, or there's no urgency, or there is no pursuit, there's no desperation for pursuit. But the pursuit of Christ is it's transformed me. It's transformed my life, and I can only speak from my experience. I'm not gonna cry here. But when you pursue God and pursue him with all of you, he begins to open your eyes to, I'm going to do great works in you, but look at the great works I've already done. You just missed it. And not even that I missed it, not that I didn't benefit from it, but I didn't appreciate it because I didn't pay attention to it. My perspective was off. I was doing my own thing. You know, I had and so, accountability.
But let me encourage you, though. Let me encourage you. If one of my kids has a gift that I have for them, and let's say that they do something stupid, let's say they, you know, break their curfew, or, you know, have a car wreck, or, you know, don't do their chores or something, you know, the majority of the time, a loving parent is not going to take that gift back to the store. Often that parent is just going to hold that gift until that child matures and either apologizes, gets things right, and then that loving parent will give that gift. So I want to say to you, and anyone like you and me, just because you made mistakes doesn't mean that God is going to return the gift. God doesn't do that. God is not petty like that. God is the type of God that lives for you to win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He exists for his children to win. Even when I give my children jobs to do and tests and trials, I'm not doing that for them to fail. I'm doing it to make them better, so that when I do give them what I have for them, they won't mess it up.
Sir, preach on tonight. Period. We're gonna move forward. It's just good. It's just good. And you talking about being a loving parent, so good, because my next question for you is, how do you balance being a devoted and loving father and husband, and also, you know, being a performer and having to tour and make music and write and still be pulled on all these directions? How do you find balance?
Well, I made a decision a long time ago that if I fail at home, everything else is hypocrisy. That if I fail at home, I'm a fake in front of the people. And so God responds to my home first, because that is his first commission. His first commission is, I'm to love my wife as he loved the church. And so if I fail at not serving my wife, because see, when you're in somebody's city preaching and singing and doing music, it's easy to be super deep and spiritual with them. You ain't living with them. They not
Yeah,
smelling your
that's
gas.
true.
They smelling your farts, and they ain't smelling your stinking breath, and you know what I'm saying. They ain't seeing when your toenails start growing up under your toe. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Yeah. They ain't seeing you without your lace front and all that. And so if that's the case, then where would God be? Is the reason why I want to win at home is because I know that that's what He looks at the most. So I want to love what He loves and hate what He hates, and so that's why I became a priority. Along with the fact that I did not have a mom and daddy, that just made me uber sensitive to not ever let them go through what I went through.
I saw something that said a lot of times when we get older, we become parents, we want to give our kids what we didn't get as kids. And I think that you have the choice, when you grow up, to continue this cycle and break the curse. And woo, has the curse been broken? Okay. I see you dote on your children, and I see you, be there for your wife, and I see you continue to show up for them with a smile every time. Wow. Every time. Wow. Every time. And it shows, through who your children are. They explore their gifts. And Keziah, oh my gosh, he's one of my favorite Instagram accounts, because you never know what he's going to do next. But it's a good thing because he has the support to explore his gifts and the freedom to do it. And I commend you for that more than anything.
And Kennedy works it for your soul now.
I saw. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
No, man, my kids are killing it. They are.
They are doing. Carrington just had her baby. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful show of not only has God blessed you, in your career and in your music, but He's blessed you abundantly in your personal life because of your obedience, and because you said, I'm gonna go, Lord, even when even though I know I'm not perfect, I'm gonna continue to pursue you. And He's continued to bless you. I just have to say that I'm honored to be a witness to it. I am.
Thank you.
And for your family, and Carrington's new addition to the family, and loving being a granddad.
Yeah, my granddad name is. I'm gonna tell you my granddad name later.
Okay, yeah, tell me later. But as far as expanding your family, what's on your vision board in the next, I'll say, 5 years? What vision do you see for your family and your career and the things you have going on?
I'm going to be very honest with you. Is I can be transparent and say to you that with this pandemic that has hit not only the country but the globe right now, is I think that when it comes to my children and my children's children and my family, I think I'm so zoned in on just their protection. I think their protection kind of blinds me of everything else right now. I just want to get them through this moment right now, because this is a pivotal moment within society. This will be a transformative moment within the world. That there will be a cosmic, paradigmatic shift that happens in the church. I mean, I should think about this. You and I both know, that after this, church may not even look the same, because so many people have now gone online. So many people have been introduced to streaming, and some people may feel like, well, I'm just going to get it like this now, So we don't even know what normal is going to look like after this. Yeah. So I think for me, I'm just looking at wanting to make sure that I'm a rock for my family, that my family sees me as a rock. And that means a lot of time with the Lord, because I want to make sure that if they come to see me as a rock, that I don't crumble.
Woo! Oh my!
It's so funny. It's so fun with these responses. Woo.
I just can't, because look, I mean, it's a great thing, and we always know that the body of Christ, we're all on one accord, even when we don't know it. And the things that you're saying is, I've been getting confirmation about the things the Lord has been revealing to me in very many ways, but I just zoned out. But here, I'm just getting so much confirmation. It's just so good to me, because God is so good to me.
Super dope. He's super
Whew,
dope.
he's just the best.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's the illest ever to do it. He's the illest ever to do it.
okay. Period. Let me not get hyped. But okay, now this was the conclusion of the question part of this powwow. But I had a game I thought would be fun to play.
Okay.
Since we talked about all the awesome, your discography is monstrous, by the way. But when we were talking about your music, I wanted to come up with this game, and the name of the game is what is it called? Oh yeah, what would you do? Because I know I'm playing the game. But the name of the game is called What Would You Do? And so in this game, I'll give you a scenario, and I'll give you 2 song titles of yours to respond with. You know, what would your response be? And you just pick whichever one your heart desires. So we only have 3 of these, and then I'm gonna go home and eat a chili dog.
I'm jealous.
But the first one I have, it says, if someone is being bullied, what advice would you give? A, be like him, or B, don't cry.
Oh, that's good.
Or C, both.
As I would say both. Just because there's a duality that there's something special about you, and it's the Christ in you, that you are even called to suffer the persecution. As Paul said, what an honor it is to be called to suffer for Christ's sake. And then I would tell you that because we're still living in these fragile bodies, there will be times that you'll be hurt by that. And so don't cry. So there is a duality. And, you know, I'm just excited about the fact that there can be.
Oh, my Lord. Persecution. Confirmations. Just so good. The second one says, if somebody steps on your brand new shoes and don't say sorry or excuse me, what would you say? A, moving on. B, the battle is the Lord's. Or C, both of them.
Both of them. I think I would say the battle is the Lord's, just because I'd be heated about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I ain't gonna lie, you know, I ain't gonna be all super deep. You know, I'm gonna be a little warm. I'm gonna be a little warm, you stepped on my shoe.
Turn the heat up just a little. We're gonna cut the heat up just a tad, okay? Yeah. That is, because look, I might just have to say the battle is the Lord's, because if you let me battle, I might ruin it for everybody. I ain't even gonna lie. I might just ruin it for everybody. But thank God for grace, okay?
Yeah.
Because maybe I stepped on somebody's shoe one time, and they didn't try to beat me down. So maybe I don't have to beat nobody else down. And this is our last one. But before we get to the last question of our game, I just wanted to say I thank you so much for taking the time. And even though we had our Wi-Fi issues and everything was going on, you know, Christ still went forth. And I honestly think, you know, the enemy will try, and he will, when there's something that needs to be said, you know, people needed to hear what was said tonight on this live. And I think that the enemy is so mad that, you know, people who are on fire for Christ are, you know, giving his word and are doing what we're charged to do. And when the devil sees that something can have an impact that is a threat to his kingdom, and he'll try as he might. What you say? The God is the illest to ever do it.
The illest to ever do it.
His will goes forth.
Yeah. God got receipts.
On top of receipts. And he don't lie. And he ain't got to. He the realest. Let me calm down.
And she just gave you all this. She gave you all this. I love it.
Okay. This is our last question. And this is a good one. It says, how would you react if you found $1 million? A, I smile. Or B, the storm is over now.
What is C?
Both of them.
Okay, so both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would say, both of them.
You let me stumble. Look, you see me putting my bang behind my ears so I can talk. Let me stumble across me $1 million. All right, I'm blessing all my friends. I'm blessing all my family. I'm going to Fishes and Loaves. We feeding the homeless. We clothing the kids. We going to Boys and Girls Club and buying a basketball court. We doing it big for the Lord, and all God gets the glory.
Amen. Amen. Look at you.
Woo! You know. Whew, I
Well,
just
thank you for having me. Thank you.
You know, this is something that I'm diving into, so it is very new for me. And it can kind of be all over the place with the Wi-Fi and everything, but I really do really appreciate you bearing with me and getting on and showing your heart. You know, a lot of the times people see us, and like you said, you know, who people see should be our authentic selves, and I honestly feel as though that's the only way we help people, through our transparency and through, you know, how we're how we're giving people God and how they see. Cause some people never hear about Christ unless through you. Some people would have never known about God unless they heard a Kirk Franklin song. And you being obedient to the will of God is, you've won so many souls. I know so many people who say, even in the comments, your songs taught me how to pray. Your songs put me in the scripture that I otherwise wouldn't have even picked up. And so I honor you for being a pioneer in our genre. I honor you for being a pioneer in our faith and doing it so radically in a way that you showed people that not only can God not be boxed in, but he is not just one way. And what he gives you how he gives it to you. And no matter how people try to tell you to conform, you keep going for God. You keep going for him the way he's tried you to, authentically for you, and he'll bless you for it. You're a living example.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, for you and your siblings, I'm so proud of you, hearing you talk so maturely. I am and will forever be your number one fan. I'll be forever the number one fan of you and your siblings. Y'all haven't even touched the beginning of it yet. Y'all are freaking incredible. And so I will always be the biggest groupie. And so this was an honor. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for reaching out to me.
Oh yeah. And let's chop it up soon too.
Super dope. Super dope. Thank you.
Love
Proud
you.
of you. Bye.
I'm out. Look at me.
And how you turn this thing off?